Camden Falls Gallery, July 11th, 2019. Paul Garnett's delivered another painting to us. It's called The Race to Liverpool. I'm just going to come up right here. The water is just so unbelievable. The green and everything into it. This is a Donald McKay clipper, sovereign of the seas. Racing one of the early steamboats across the Atlantic, and the sovereign of the seas beat the steamer by 2 days. It's my pleasure to introduce Paul Garnett.
Hey Howard, thank you. Now, one of the problems with a painting like this is to get the detail right in the picture if you're going to leave a historical record behind and not just a nice picture. So a lot of research goes into the time of day, the type of sea that was running, what sails they were carrying. And the thing that inspired me to do this was there was a lot of rivalry going on at the time because steam was just coming in. The vessel you're looking at now is the Cunard Canada, and you'll notice it still has sails on it even though it's under steam, and that's because it was sort of like an insurance thing that if the steam boiler went, they still had sail to get to where they needed to go. So a challenge went out from the Cunard to the clipper vessel, Sovereign of the Seas, that they thought that they could beat her across the Atlantic, since both of them were both going off to Liverpool. So they took up the challenge and across they went, and after the first 2 days they lost sight of each other. So the steamship captain was saying he didn't see them, so he assumed they had pulled off ahead of them, which they did not, because as they pulled into Liverpool, there was the Sovereign of the Seas at anchor, already in port for 2 days, and her crew, in order to sort of drive the knife in a little further, they put a big banner between the foremast and the mainmast right in here, and they had lettered on there, Sovereign of the Seas, fastest sailing vessel on the Atlantic. So I thought that was neat, that it was a voyage that wasn't just historical, but something that had been initiated on a challenge. And what happened with sail was still so fast that this ship was averaging almost 23 knots,
Wow.
which is very, very fast. But she's got a cloud of canvas on her.
Oh, she's got her studding sails on?
Yeah, and as you go up here,
oh, this is amazing.
You can see the men's legs sticking below the yards, and they're starting to actually set
a royal?
The two royals.
Wow.
To grab every inch of breadth that they could get.
So that's the fore-royal. Here's the main royal right here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the flag you see here with the black dot on the red, that's the flag of the James Baines Company, which bought the ship from McKay when she was launched. And they were the ones that owned her through her lifetime of service, running these trips with cargo and passengers back and forth across the Atlantic.
I just love, the light you have on here, the complete pattern of the shadow of the foresails and everything on the main.
Yeah, well, you have to figure out where the light is coming from with that, which is a little bit of a problem because you don't have a three-dimensional thing to work with.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out initially where the sun is coming from, which is ahead of the vessel.
Yeah.
You can also see by looking at the clouds that the edges are lit. But it's really very overcast and there's weather coming in.
Yeah.
Even though the ship is in a bright spot.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if you've been out on boats or little excursions, every once in a while you'll see when you're out a part of the ocean being all lit up and everything around it is dark.
Yeah.
And that's caused by clouds and refractions of light and all that.
You can see the front coming in and it looks like she's just running before about a southwesterly or so if she's heading for England. Paul, it is absolutely amazing. Now, what is the size of this painting?
It is 20 by 30.
20 by 30. Once again, Paul, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. One other thing, too, before we leave is these birds. You can see a tremendous amount of birds.
Yep.
And that was another thing that was very, very common because the ship is only a few hours out of port, heading out on her trip, and the birds would follow anything that went out because they were looking for garbage and things being thrown overboard or left behind, so the seagulls being scavengers were
Okay,
always there.
so this is the very beginning of the trip, the
very
very beginning of the
beginning of the
race.
trip.
I got you.
Right.
And there's so much in the beginning that they've just got their studding sail set.
That's right.
They're putting on their top royals and
Yeah,
everything else, and
yeah.
just getting ready to fly.
They're grabbing every breath of wind.
And you said averaging 22 knots?
At 20 to 8, between 18 and 23 knots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your detail is just amazing, but what really took me away on this one, after just seeing digital images of it,
Yeah.
is the water and that wonderful, wonderful green that you have in the hollows.
Well, if you look at the bow here, you'll see on the bow wave this little froth of foam up here.
Yep.
And that's because she's going so fast, she's actually throwing up like this thin veil of water ahead of her, and only the top is frothing. So it's, that's another thing you have to do with the water, is how the hull moves through the water.
Yeah.
How fast she's going, what the wind is doing.
And what
So, whoever initially gets the picture, and for whatever reasons they buy it, they're not only getting something that's a beautiful picture for their wall, but something that's historically correct. So.
And historically correct is it. And what always amazes me is the detail you have when I look close at the deck work and everything else. And then my camera, I don't think, is focusing as clearly as it has in the past. But just, the forward crew, everything else.
Yeah, the people on deck, if you show anybody, near the wheel, on the deck, you have to say to yourself, well, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Are they setting sail? Are they taking it in? Are they tying up and hanging lines?
Well, here it seems like they're on the foredeck, they're setting.
Yeah,
and
they're hauling in.
trimming.
They're hauling in the sheets on the staysails, and the
Trimming
jibs.
that. But then all the way here on the back, it looks like, the helmsman's there. I don't know if that's going to be the captain.
Yeah, he's right here.
But you can, I wish,
Their
there you go.
Their wheelhouse is right there.
There's the zoom on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured out how to do my zoom.
Yeah.
But you got the wheelhouse right there with the helmsman there. Somebody's right at the taffrail, just looking astern. And then you've got that whole deck work.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul, these are just so much fun.
There's a story behind all of them. It's not just sitting down and saying, hey, I think I'm going to paint this real cool ship.
And what a treat to be able to record it in this manner, and because the painting, I believe, is already spoken for, and I'll just get a chance to see it for maybe the day, but I'll know where it is.
The frame is very important too. When you do a picture like this, is to have the frame match the time period of the picture.
Yeah.
Today, everything is so minimalist. You got people putting skinny frames on something that needs something a little more because it's 19th century.
Yep.
It's not current.
Too much glare there. This is not working out as well. I've zoomed in, but now I can't zoom out. But here it is. This is all gold leaf.
Yeah.
The interior chiseled channel there is all antiqued.
All antiqued and cracks in the gold. And
Is
stuff
this
to
like
make
22
it
karat
look
gold or
23 karat?
23 karat gold? Look at that.
This is a different gold on the plate, even though it's gold on gold. That offsets that a little bit.
Okay, so we're going to end again with the Race to Liverpool, Sovereign of the Seas, June 1853, Atlantic Ocean. Paul Garnett. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome, man.